In the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the ACC's Wake Forest Demon Deacons take on the midshipmen of Navy, whose ground attack helped the Mids win the first meeting back in September. Now, Wake looks for payback in RFK as college football's bowl season begins today with the inaugural EagleBankBowl. Washington Monument standing tall on this gray, overcast, cold day in Washington, D.C. as we welcome you to the inaugural EagleBankBowl. Historic RFK Stadium, home to the Redskins for some 36 years. Today, the midshipmen now taking the field. 20,000 fans along with them. The folks from North Carolina have come up to see Wake Forest as well. Navy coming in at 8-4, and the Demon Deacons 7-5 on the season. And hi again, everybody. Glad to have you with us. Terry Gannon along with David Norrie, Quint Kesnick down on the field. The bowl season officially about to get underway. Pretty good matchup here too, David. You look at the nation's top ground attack in Navy against one of the most opportunistic defenses that includes the Butkus winner and another All-American at cornerback, but not many have slowed down that triple option offense.
This Navy offense, it's an absolute ground machine. They've led the country 3 straight years on the ground, and it all starts outside with a bona fide home run threat in Shun White. 4'4" guy with the ability to really test you on the perimeter. And then Eric Katani, the fullback, he'll line up directly behind the quarterback. He's got exceptional speed as well. He will split safeties, and if he gets behind the secondary, he's always a threat to take it to the painted area. For Wake Forest, you look at Aaron Curry, the linebacker. He's going to have a lot of responsibility playing both the quarterback and the pitch this afternoon. The Butkus Award winner, probably a top 5 pick in this spring's NFL draft. A very exceptional athlete on the outside. And then Alphonso White, a cornerback, first-team All-American. He won't have many opportunities this afternoon to defense the pass, but he is still a very good cornerback coming up, slipping blockers and making tackles against the pitchman on the perimeter.
These two teams hooked up in Winston-Salem earlier this year. Navy got the better end of that deal, 24-17. Wake Forest turned it over 6 times in that game. 800 midshipmen have made their way here to RFK. Those who are not here send their best.
From St. Louis, Missouri, I'm wishing everybody a happy holidays. Go Navy, beat Wake.
Jesse Howe on board U.S. Abraham Lincoln from Dallas, Texas. Wishing my husband Brian and daughter Brianna happy holidays. Go Navy, beat Wake.
Happy holidays from U.S. Abraham Lincoln. Go Navy, beat Wake. Again.
For us as the nation's capital to kick off the college bowl season really it's amazing. It's an honor. I think it's fitting for the nation's capital. You know, this is really big for lots of reasons. RFK has got great tradition, great history. One of those old stadiums in the country that have produced a lot of wins and have a lot of great memories.
From the parking lot, the view of RFK Stadium, now home to D.C. United, but the Senators played here, the Redskins, for more than 3 decades. Getting set for Wake Forest and Navy. Quint Kesnick down on the field throughout. And you look at what we are just getting underway, Mr. Norrie, 34 games over the next 19 days. Some great matchups, obviously, there, 25 of those on the ESPN family of networks, 15 on ESPN Radio. So sit back, sit on the couch, and check out some football over the next 19 days. Quint, an emotional day for some of the midshipmen today.
Well, and especially the seniors, Terry, because in a way they're playing their last organized football game today. That is, except Eric Katani, the fullback, will be playing in the Senior Bowl. But this is the end. There's no NFL in their future. 6 months from now, they'll be deployed around the United States and the world to represent America and defend the flag. And when you look at this Navy team today, it is a team that is really backing their seniors. Yesterday at the banquet, Wake Forest and Navy in attendance. The seniors of Navy were recognized. The entire Wake Forest team stood and gave them a standing ovation. It was a sign of mutual respect for two programs that stand for the best in college football.
Yeah, absolutely. And you go back to that first matchup this year, David, there was some extracurricular after the whistle throughout, but, you know, a lot of respect shown at the banquet. Wake won the toss. They'll receive. John Teague gets us underway. Devon Brown back inside his own 5-yard line. Wide receiver bringing it back across the 20 and out to the 23. So that's where Wake Forest will get things started. And they've got a guy running the show who has done it many times. He is the winningest quarterback in the history of Wake. He's got 25 wins in his career, Riley Skinner, but he also threw 4 interceptions in that first matchup.
Yeah, for the first 10 games of the season for Wake Forest, Riley Skinner did not throw an interception, with the exception of 4 picks against Navy. Navy played exceptionally well in the secondary, and look for Riley Skinner to not try to test this team as much vertically this afternoon.
Kevin Harris getting a start at tailback, which is a bit of a surprise. Can't even get back to the line of scrimmage. Ross Pospisil, the inside linebacker, made the initial hit, but he had help. Harris getting a start. He played a lot in that final game against Vanderbilt, but he was at one point the third-string fullback throughout the season. Jim Grobe saying it was a battlefield decision to give him a start today. Not much of a gain on second down for Harris.
Well, Wake Forest opening up with some no huddle, trying to change the pace against Navy. And we talked about Riley Skinner and the struggles he had in the first game against Navy. Tried to take too many shots down the field, and I think Steve Labotsky, the offensive coordinator, and he talked to us earlier this week, they want to stretch the field horizontally and work against Navy in some of the short and intermediate zones.
So it's 3rd and 6 from the 28. We'll see if Skinner goes to the air. He's out of the shotgun now. And it led the nation in completion percentage last year, just over 63% this year, and they'll whistle this one dead before it gets underway.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 62, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And they'll back him up. How about what Jim Grobe has done, now going to 3 straight bowl games. First time ever that Wake Forest has done that.
It's been an amazing turnaround for the Wake Forest program. You talk about some of the great turnarounds the last 40, 50 years in college football, Kansas State, Northwestern. Wake Forest is right up there with the biggest turnarounds that we've seen.
Spent 8 weeks in the top 25 this year, where as high as 16 until that matchup with Navy. Skinner stepping up, plenty of room to throw or run. Closes down quickly though. Knocked down at the 25, Pospisil, and again in on the tackle. You know, we started talking about the Navy ground game and the Wake defense, but this has been a terrific defense, especially the last 2/3 of the year for Buddy Green and Navy.
Yeah, pitched 2 shutouts in the final 2 games of the season. In fact, they haven't given up a point in over 131 minutes. 131 consecutive minutes coming into this football game.
Shane Popham on to punt, and Wake just gives up nothing in terms of return yardage on punts. And a rugby-style punt. Mario Washington gets away from it. Pretty good roll for the Demon Deacons, down to the 32, and a punt of 44 yards with no return. So running the show for Navy, Kaipo Noah, Kahiaku, and Hada. And he does go by Kaipo, so we will call him that throughout the rest of the game. But a guy who was hurt this year, they're a different team when he's running the show for them. He's had a hamstring injury throughout most of the season and missed 7 games.
Kaipo's seen it all, and he is a master working the triple option. A lot of decision making in this offense after the snap of the football, the read, and he either gives to the fullback or he pulls it and continues outside on the option.
First series starts at the 31. On the pitch, Sean White's got a big hole, gets to the outside. Foot race inside the 40. To the 31, Kevin Patterson ran him down there, but a huge gain on the first play from scrimmage for Navy. Gain of 39.
We saw head coach Ken Niumatalolo with some enthusiasm on the sideline. This is a big play First play from scrimmage. Shun White was shut down in the first game against Wake Forest, but it takes a while to get used to the speed and execution of this offense.
No matter how much you practice against it, you can't duplicate that speed. Down at the 30, Shun White right at the line of scrimmage. We check out our Navy Mutual impact players, including the fullback Eric Catani, who's gone over 2,000 yards for his career.
Shun White has been the designated slot man and pitch man for Navy, and you know, he has not given this offense much balance because there aren't any slot backs to go to, with the exception of Shun White on the outside, and then Pospisil, the leading tackler. Some big interceptions throughout the course of the season.
Pospisil already a couple of tackles. They give it to the fullback this time. It's Catani ahead for a couple just outside the 26-yard line. And this is what Navy does to you, and it's what they did in that first matchup with Wake Forest. David, they were up 17-0 at half, and they kept the ball for almost 37 minutes of that game.
And Navy took a 2-touchdown lead early in that football game, and when you talk to defensive coordinators about going up against this offense, they say it's impossible to duplicate the look, the speed, the execution in practice, and oftentimes it takes a couple possessions to get up to speed on defense.
Kaipo keeps it, looks for room, and is not going to get there. A good speed and pursuit. Stanley Arnoux, the senior from Sunrise, Florida, on the hit.
Kaipo is not as much of a threat at the quarterback position when he keeps as a Shun White on the outside or an Eric Catani at fullback, but he is nifty. And Coach Nia Matalolo compared him to Graham Harrell at Texas Tech, said he's a very experienced quarterback. There are not a lot of things that he has not seen.
Matt Harmon on for a 40-yard try. He's been terrific this year. He's a Groza Award semifinalist, 17 of 19, and good. So Navy with that big burst on the first play from scrimmage, 39-yard run by Shun White, setting up a Harmon field goal there on the board first, 3-0. Mentioned that last meeting, September 27th, and Skinner just having an awful time against that Navy defense.
Yeah, he really did. And you know, Navy used a lot of 8-man drops and pass coverage. They were able to get some pressure with 3- and 4-man rush. And it was one of the games, probably the worst game that Riley Skinner has played in 3 years for Wake Forest. Did not throw the ball very accurately and made some bad decisions.
Jared Bryant, you saw him running the quarterback position in the second half of that game because Kaipo Noah went out with a hamstring. He had it aggravated in the game, and that was a frustrating time. He thought about walking away at some point this year. Devon Brown bringing it back again from his 2. Still up. Good return out to the 24 for Brown. So the second series for Wake Forest, 7-5, 4-4 in the ACC Atlantic Division. Niamatalolo on the sideline, watching his defense go to work now. There's just a crazy ACC season this year.
Unbelievable.
Almost everybody had a chance to win the league title coming down to the last week of the season. First and 10, Skinner gives it off. Harris is going nowhere. Wrapped up right away, Nate Frazier, the junior from Atlanta, and a big key to that defensive front.
Yeah, Frazier was a force in the first game. We've already mentioned the first game quite a few times, but he was a force, and Wake Forest continuing to go no huddle.
A loss of 4 on the play. Frazier, Jabari Tuwani, a terrific freshman on one end, and Matt Nishak, the junior from California, on the other end. Harris looking for room, has it initially. Close to a first down, Kevin Harris, the junior from Sanford, Florida, and a gain of 15. So he picks up the first down. Michael Hogue sprung him with a block. Little change on that offense.
The offensive front has been a problem all year long. Coming into the season, only 1 returning starter, injuries up front. They've had to play with a combination of true freshmen and redshirt freshmen, and well documented the struggles that Wake Forest has had, and it has all started with the offensive line and an inability for most of the season to run the football.
operating against the defense that had back-to-back shutouts to end the season. Harris just bringing people with him, and that's what he will give you that a Brandon Pendergrass or a Josh Adams don't.
Kevin Harris, you go back to the 2006 season, the ACC championship year for Jim Grove and Wake Forest, and he got the majority of the carries. And Mike Andrews went down, and he is an experienced back. He's only getting his 3rd start of his career this afternoon, but he's shown a toughness running the football, and he's hitting it quickly.
First and 10 from the 46. Ben Wooster's had a tough season with injuries. In motion, here's Harris. And not much going on. A gain of maybe 1, run out of bounds there by Corey Johnson, who was a 3-year starter on the basketball team at Navy. I mentioned Wake going to 3 straight bowls, 5-3 all time. And Navy, close losses the last couple, but this is their 6th straight year in a bowl game.
You look at Wake Forest, not much of a bowl history for Wake Forest. In fact, before Jim Grove came to the program, most wins in a season for the Deacs, 8.
Gonna run it this way. Alfonso Smith getting the call on offense. The defensive back going the other way. Can't get around the edge, but he's down to the 47. The ball is loose. Navy has it. They're running the other way to the end zone. No signal back at midfield. That's a touchdown. Rashawn King picked it up and went all the way. And David, everyone kind of slowed up. I think they thought there was a whistle, and no one reacted initially.
Alfonso Smith, a brilliant run, reversing field. He just did not secure the football, and it's not going to go upstairs.
They do get the snap, although, yeah, they get the whistle right before the snap. It's a Mountain West crew today, by the way. Lan Clark, your referee.
Well, the ball appeared to come out late. And Alfonso Smith has been used in practice and game some on offense throughout the course of the season.
The previous play is being challenged that the runner was down by Wake Forest.
And as you know, they take a look at every play. Ken Niumatalolo pleading his case on the other sideline, so we'll step away while they take a look at it and come back with a ruling. Back at the Eagle Bank Bowl, the ruling on the field upheld. It is a touchdown, Navy. Take another look, David.
Yeah, this is an exceptional play by Middleton, number 8. The safety getting the right hand in, stripping the football. Smith's knee did not touch the ground, and a great job by King to scoop and score.
Arm on for the extra point. It's up and good with a flag at the end. Alfonso Smith, the All-American, giving it up to Rashawn King. He went 50 yards to the end zone, but they used him on offense last year in the bowl game. He had 3 receptions, and they've done it before.
Defense number 17. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
All right, so you heard the defensive penalty in the 15 yards on the kickoff, but he just didn't secure the football.
Well, and the Demon Deacons have had a real lack of potency on offense, Terry, throughout the year. So it figures Steve Labotsky, the offensive coordinator, is going to try to get another skill athlete into the game. And this was a special run by Alfonso Smith. I just thought it was an exceptional job by Middleton coming in, getting a hand on the football and stripping it.
And one of the 3 who will play in the Senior Bowl, Alfonso Smith, dejected.
He is a great kid. We've had a couple opportunities this year to sit down with Alfonso Smith, Terry, and he just lights you up with personality and enthusiasm. You could see he was disappointed in himself. Sean King.
How about King
excited.
And how special it is for him? He lost his father, who died before the Army game, and in fact they are wearing a decal, DK, for his initials. Drexel is his dad's name, and you know, obviously a tough end to this season away from the field for Rashawn King.
He has had a nice year at cornerback, and cornerback position has been a real strength for Navy. In fact, you look at the defense. The defense have really been the unsung heroes for this outfit, and they put him up by 10 early.
Hey, Teague has been busy. kicking off in this one already. That's his third kickoff. Through the back of the end zone, it'll come out to the 20, and we throw it down to Quinn.
Harry, you mentioned Rashawn King losing his father, Drexel King, on the Thursday before the Army game to a heart attack. He didn't play against Army. After that last touchdown, there wasn't a single Navy player in these white uniforms who didn't come over and offer congratulations to Rashawn. His mom is sitting up in section 331. It's been an emotional day for her. These Navy players, when they remember about Drexel, the dad, they talk about how he hosted tailgates and how he had a great big smile.
Yep, and back to work he goes in this Navy defense, which has been very good. Over 131 straight minutes coming into the game without giving up a point. Don't give up much here. About 3 on first down. Rich Belton with the run, back up fullback for the Demon Deacons.
And Jim Grobe has to be frustrated as defense holds Navy to a field goal. They get some run game going with Kevin Harris. They're chewing some clock, moving the football. We get a nice run from Alfonso Smith, and all of a sudden he looks up and it's 10-0.
These two teams actually tied for third in the nation in terms of turnover margin. Both have been very good. Wakedale has struggled against Navy with that. Complete, tough catch. Near the 30, maybe just shy of a first down. We'll see. DJ Bolden, who is the leading receiver in the ACC.
Well, this offense for Navy, Terry, they really affect you even when they're not on the field. A lot of offenses, they'll press, they'll try to make big plays. I think that was part of it with Riley Skinner in the first game, and you get behind Navy, you start pressing a bit, and then it creates more mistakes.
Well, you want to make the most of that rare time you have on the field. Skinner keeps it, and they'll move the chains. The Deeks with the first down, but you don't spend that much time. Jim Grobe's offense, he knows going in, and he knows this offense for Navy very well. All the years he spent at Air Force, so it's no surprise, but getting that information to the players and having them react is a different story.
Like we said, you cannot really duplicate with your scout team the look of the Navy offense and the speed and the execution on the practice field, so it oftentimes takes you about a quarter to get set.
Skinner, DeLiz pressuring him out to Belton, but right at the 30. Well covered. His quick defense. Day 1 of Capital One Bowl week continues tonight. Pioneer Las Vegas Bowl coming your way. Max Hall leading 16th ranked BYU against the Arizona Wildcats. Capital One Bowl week on ESPN tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern time. That should be a good one.
There are some intriguing matchups, even prior to Christmas. You know, even before you open up the presents, a couple big-time offenses in that game. Exciting. A lot of points should be scored in that one.
Mountain West 6-1 against the Pac-10 so far this year. There's the quick out to Harris. Looked for a block, but he was tripped up right away. Nate Frazier was in there pressuring Riley Skinner.
This front three on defense for Navy has been a real key throughout the season. They've done a great job against the run. Tuani, of course, the freshman. Frazier's been just a foundation in the middle of that defensive line, and then Nishak, the junior, at right end.
That Tuani may be exceeding expectations of these defensive coaches. Skinner flushed out of the pocket. He does throw on the run well, but run out of bounds. Chased down from behind. And it was Tuani, as we just mentioned his name, running down Riley Skinner.
Tuani got his first start as a freshman in the Wake Forest game. He has led this team in tackles behind the line of scrimmage. He leads a defensive lineman in tackles overall. And Riley Skinner being disciplined, just pulling the football down.
Popham gets the punt off. Mario Washington, the fair catch back at the 20. The longest return all year they've given up?
2 yards.
2 yards.
Can you believe that?
Unbelievable. That's a punt of 35 yards, no return, but the Navy offense back on the field when we come back.
ESPN College Football, the EagleBank Bowl, is brought to you by Eagle Bank. We're listening and we're doing. For more information, please visit us at www.eaglebankcorp.com. And Navy Mutual Aid, life insurance and annuities, covering sailors and Marines for 130 years.
There are many times that you pass the mall on the way to the stadium, but but not the National Mall. Washington Monument. Boy, what a, you come over here to RFK and you pass the Capitol and the White House and the Washington Monument. It's just
so much history.
Yeah. Different feeling coming to work, Mr. Norrie. 1st and 10, Navy from the 20. Kitepo on the quick pitch. Outside, not much. Ahead for a couple, maybe. Greg Shanego, number 29, the senior from Port St. Lucie, Florida, tripped up by Brandon G.
Well, he talked about Kitepo operating in this triple option offense, and watch how quickly the quarterback responsibility defender shows, and Kitepo, no problem, quickly gets the ball outside, dishes it to the pitch man. Every time he takes a snap, he is reading a defensive lineman on the line of scrimmage, and that dictates whether he gives the ball to Katani or continues outside on the option.
You got a quick split second to make that read, and the defense as well. If you're on the edge or you're a linebacker like Curry, here comes Curry. He hits Kitepo hard, got the pitch off though. It's Bobby Doyle with a solid gain and a first down as we send it back to the studio and check in with Wendy Nix right now.
Terry, thank you very much. It's the Division III National Championship. Wisconsin Whitewater facing Mount Union for the 4th straight year. These two teams have played for the title. D3 Player of the Year, Greg McKaylee to Cecil Short's touchdown. It's 21-7, Mount Union over Wisconsin Whitewater.
Wendy, thank you. It is that time of year, and day 1 of Capital One Bowl Week, and we kick off 34 bowl games.
Wall to wall, baby.
You got it. Shun White in motion. Kitepo's going to throw. They look for the big play after setting it up with all the runs. Not this time. Incomplete. Shanego, the intended receiver. Chip Vaughn on the coverage.
The Navy doesn't throw it very often, but when they do, they try to get big chunks. They get you sucking up on the run, playing that triple option. And this is a nice job by number 9, Chip Vaughn, keeping his depth, not biting on the option action. Navy, all 3 service academies this year, Terry, Army, Navy, and Air Force have all won games without completing a forward pass.
Pretty amazing, isn't it?
Amazing.
This age of the spread offense. Ken Diamazzololo, first Navy coach to take them to a bowl game his first year. Shun White gets outside. Hit hard there by Chip Vaughn along the sideline, but a gain of 8. Take a look at our Navy Mutual impact players, and you got to start with the man who won the Butkus Award.
Aaron Curry, you talk about his passion. He plays the game the same on Tuesday as he does on Saturday, and he is going to be a high-ranked pick in the draft this spring. Alfonso Smith, we've seen how many huge plays he's made, interceptions returned for touchdowns over the last 3 years. And then DJ Bolden, 77 catches on the season, a rare bright spot on a offense that has lacked potency.
Curry, Alfonso Smith, and Chip Vaughn from that defense all going to the Senior Bowl. Shun White tripped up the line of scrimmage, falls ahead for 1, maybe 2.
When you watch that first game between these two teams, Wake Forest did a great job of taking the pitch man. Shun White was essentially shut down for the entire game. This defense for Wake Forest had trouble stopping Eric Katani, the fullback, on the inside runs. But today, in the early, Navy has had success getting the ball outside on the pitch. They've really been testing Wake Forest on the perimeter.
Yeah, Katani had 175 yards in that game. And coming into this game, only 68 yards from 1,000. It would be the second time ever they had a backfield with 2 guys over 1,000 yards. Kitepo keeps it and brought down at the 47. John Russell, the junior from Jacksonville, Florida, on the stop.
When you have a quarterback that doesn't threaten the way that a fullback and a pitchman does, a defender that has his responsibility, that is to take the quarterback, he can kind of soft play it. They call it a sweat technique, where you don't come up and commit and you just bide your time down the line and allow help to come. That's the way that Wake Forest is going to play Kaipo Noah this afternoon. 2nd and 8 from the 47. He's going to throw again. Hit hard. Had his man through the arms of Tyree Barnes, who slipped as he was just about to make the catch. And it looked like Aaron Curry provided some pressure, and this ball might have been tipped. I think Tyree Barnes was trying to make an adjustment on the tip.
Well, look at that move.
Very nice outside swim move. Holds up a bit on the quarterback so he doesn't draw the flag. And Barnes was trying to make an adjustment to a deflected football. He is their go-to guy on the outside. And talk about a wide receiver playing at Navy with great ball skills and route running ability. He's a luxury for the midshipman.
Timeout Navy. So a minute 42 left in the first. It's been all midshipmen so far. Although Ken doesn't look happy. 3rd down and 8 for Navy. Here's Kaipo on the run. He's going to keep it this time. Close to a 1st down. He may have it there. He stretches out to get across the 45.
This is going to be close, but what a nice run by Kaipo Noah. This defense is starting to lean a bit on the pitchman outside. And Kaipo does a nice job of knifing the ball north and south whenever he gets the opportunity. This is a section of the field where even if Navy didn't pick up the 1st down, this offensive line, you think they would go on 4th down.
They don't have to. By the nose of the football. Ken Nima and Tololo looking across at Jim Grove. First Samoan Division I head coach. Second Polynesian head coach. Larry Price led Navy some years ago, and they have been the leading rushing team. Look at that, for the last 5 seasons. And had 292 yards on the ground in that first matchup against Wake. Kaipo's going to throw for the 3rd time. He's got his man inside the 40 is Barnes with the catch. A little short out and well read by Wake Forest, but you know you're concentrating on that triple option. You're concentrating. All of a sudden he comes back and you've got to react quickly.
And Barnes is a strong, talented athlete at wide receiver. Ivan Jasper, the offensive coordinator, made the comment that we are lucky to have a kid like that in the Navy offense. And nifty little call there, a delay route outside.
He had 18 catches on the year. No one else was out of single digits. Shun White is going to lose ground. Brandon G was there. He had help from Curry.
Brandon G read this play all the way. And Wake Forest has a couple cornerbacks that are very capable coming up and making plays on the outside. G's a bit taller, a bigger athlete than Alfonso Smith. Long arms. Not many negative plays against Ken Niumatalolo's offense throughout the course of this season.
So it brings up 3rd and 10, but the final seconds of the first quarter ticking off the clock, and it's been all midshipmen so far. They've got 800 of them here watching. About 20,000 fans in all, and around the world they're watching too. See if they can stop the Demon Deacons, and they are up 10-0 in the inaugural Eagle Bank Bowl from RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. Reason to celebrate so far for the midshipmen who have made their way here. 10-0 Navy over Wake Forest in the Eagle Bank Bowl as we begin the second quarter. Temperature in the 30s as this is the 11th play of the drive for the midshipmen, and that is what they do. They keep it on the ground. They keep it on offense. Shun White, little hesitation and down close to the 37.
Navy picks up enough yards on 3rd down there that they have an opportunity to go on 4th here. They don't pick up a lot. Punting the ball away would be an interesting decision.
Looks like they're going to go.
I like it. I like the decision. It's a big drive for both teams.
13 for 21 this year on 4th down. Katani, the fullback, behind Kaipo. Shun White in the slot to the right. He goes in motion. The pitch to White. Cut back inside the 35 and a 1st down. So the midshipmen gamble on 4th down. Pretty good gamble, though, right there. I mean, that's not that far out of the box.
I like the call. It's aggressive. You're in a bowl game. Talked about the seniors, their last game at Navy, 10-0 lead. Nice read. And watch Shun White. You hear so much about his speed and his home run ability on the outside, but he did a nice job planting that left cleat and getting the ball upfield in a hurry.
There he goes in motion again. It's all timing with that triple option. And Katani, the fullback, the call ahead for a few. I mentioned if he got to 1,000 yards, he'd have a couple of guys in the backfield going over 1,000 yards. They've both gone over 2,000 for their careers.
That's an amazing feat. And we talked about this offense, 3 years straight, #1 rushing offense in the country 4 out of the last 5 years. And this offensive line, so good up front. They come off quickly, utilize a lot of cut blocks, and that isn't very fun for defensive linemen facing those cut blocks all afternoon.
Kaipo to throw. To the sideline, incomplete. Tyree Barnes, again, the intended receiver. And again, Aaron Curry was in there to bother Kaipo Noah.
Aaron Curry is one of those linebackers with hand strength. And you know, Brad Lambert, the defensive coordinator, talks about the strength of Curry's hands and how he can play off of blockers, you know, redirect blockers. And he is going to be a joy to watch on Sundays.
Now that man, you think about winning the Butkus this year. You and I did a few USC Trojan games. Ray Maualuga,
Brian Cushing.
It's hard to imagine, and this is the man who won that award.
Quite a tribute.
Kaipo to the inside, hit hard at the 30. And that's Brandon G, who's been active. So he, along with Curry, two of the stars of this defense. For more on Aaron, here's Quinn.
Terry, I talked to the linebacker before the game and asked him about defending the option. He says it's tough. His mindset, typically, he has the uncontrollable urge to kill everyone he hits. And this is a game where he really has to break down and play assignment football. He says that is a huge mental challenge.
Yeah, you got to really rein yourself in a little bit in a game like this against this offense. Matt Harmon on, he already hit one from 40 yards. This one's from 47. Jared Bryant the hold. Plenty of leg and good again. This guy's good. He's been good all year long. 19 of 21 on the season is Harmon. So it's 13-0. Remember, they led 17-0 at half in the first game in September. Ken Niumatalolo loves it. Playing here in RFK today, the last NFL game back in 1996, and sure, it was the Cowboys and Redskins. Talked to Troy Aikman. He said they already clinched the division. He was sitting out that game. Ringens was there, and all the Hogs, and this was a special place for Redskins fans.
And some great games over the years. Of course, 3 Super Bowl championships, 2 other appearances in the Super Bowl finale.
Get a piece of the turf. I saw a Nationals game here a few years ago. Now they're in Nationals Park. DC United plays here now in MLS. The Senators used to play here long ago, but 1961 to 1996. That's when the Redskins played here.
You remember the Hogs up front, the offensive line?
And in the stands, as a matter of fact.
Etched into my memory.
16-play drive, 16 plays that went 50 yards. Took over 7 minutes off the clock and ended up with a Harmon field goal. C.J. Washington bringing it back to the near side for Wake. And brought down hard at the 24-yard line. But that's the kind of drive that we've seen throughout the year from Navy.
And Navy, as we said, really creates problems for you because you worry about how many touches you're going to get on the football. Your possessions are going to be limited. And playing from behind is just that much tougher.
Mentioning the old Redskins, Sammy Baugh, who passed away earlier this week, one of the greats in Redskins history and a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he led the NFL in passing, interceptions, and punting in 43. Still holds a record for the Redskins, 178 touchdown passes.
You know, somebody's telling me that story. You know what he signed for in 1937?
I don't even want to hear this.
Offside. Defense, number 59. 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
All right, goes against the midshipman and Matt Neshek. $8,000, and he was the highest paid player on the team.
He was living large. He was living the dream.
And he went on to be a coach, college coach, and an AFL coach with the Oilers. 1st and 5 for the Demon Deacons. Bolden in motion. They're going to come this way. The pitch. Harris run out. And a little extra. Corey Johnson on the hit, the former basketball star. But we saw a lot of that in the matchup earlier this year in Winston-Salem. After the play, David.
Well, Navy is a defense that'll come up and smack you. These kids all like to hit. We talked about the offensive line for Navy getting into your legs, the cut blocks, that can get very annoying. And then the game was played at Wake Forest, and Wake Forest was trailing in that game. The game got very chippy after the whistle.
Flags early. Skinner applauds. Nate Frazier may be the man who jumped across.
Red ball. Offside. Defense number 99. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
And it was.
Taking a look at Big Joe Birdsong. We talked about how tempers flared in that first game. He was ejected in the first half. Tackle for Wake Forest is going to be rotating every series from left tackle to right tackle. Steve Lebowski does not want to have his other 2 tackles, freshmen, going the entire game.
Harris straight ahead with room to the outside across midfield. Kevin Harris into Navy territory, a big run, and it was Birdsong who threw a key block.
But remember, Wake Forest opened up the season in the spread. They have changed into an I team here, only a single back though. They go back into the spread formation, and Harris. We've heard so much about Brandon Pendergrass and Josh Adams and their speed and their ability to make you miss, but Harris showing a north-south ability, and he is hitting the creases quick.
He's got 8 carries for 53 yards. Here he is again, met right at the line of scrimmage, going nowhere. Head on, Tony Haber, the junior from Liberty Hill, Texas.
Wake Forest came into the season with plans of letting Riley Skinner air it out some, but they've become more conservative, not allow him to throw the football much, and Navy looking stout up front.
And Wake quickly to the line of scrimmage. The pitch to Josh Adams. You just mentioned his name. Adams, the sophomore from Cary, North Carolina, who was the ACC Rookie of the Year last year. Riley Skinner was a couple of years ago. But Adams and Brandon Pendergrass, with the speed, they have not been able to stay healthy through much of the year.
Adams was hurt in the preseason, and then both backs got dinged against Miami. Injuries have been a problem, the offensive line and at running back.
So it's 3rd and 10, and now Skinner to the shotgun. He's had some time to throw. No one open downfield though. Scrambling to the 32, has to get to the 29 for a first down. Nate Frazier ran him down. The big man, 6'3", 287 pounds from Atlanta.
Sam Swank has plenty of range here, and I think they'll try a field goal, but Riley Skinner has great feet, and he has always been a quarterback that keeps his eyes trained down the field, looking to hurt you with the pass as he moves. Also shows you some toughness at the position.
Swank, who's been terrific throughout his career, he's one of the best in college football. This from 49 yards, which is his long. He's been injured through much of the season. No, it hits the upright. That was a ball that was dying and hooking, and would it stay? And it hits the upright. Sam, how close can you get? Still being shut out. The war memorials here in Washington, D.C. World War II memorial there on a gray, overcast, chilly day in the nation's capital. Terry Gannon back with David Norrie. Quint Kesnick, Navy leading 13-0. Back to work on the ground. Eric Katani keeps it. So they have gone, David, this Navy defense, as Swank hit the upright and barely missed. They've gone 152 minutes and 5 seconds without giving up a point.
That's unbelievable. People that follow college football over the last 25 years, you'd never think it. You hear so much about this Navy offense, but Ken Niumatalolo made it a point yesterday at the banquet to say that the defense is the reason why they are in this bowl game.
Offensively, though, carrying on that Paul Johnson tradition of this triple option out to Shun White. Nope. Chip Vaughn, too much speed on the edge. And they're going at it.
It is important as a defense playing against a triple option to make sure that you hit the quarterback every opportunity you get. Watch Aaron Curry come in, deliver a lick on Kaipo. Head coach not very happy. I think he might have been upset about a face mask that went uncalled at the end of that play. Kaipo still doing a nice job of getting the ball outside, being very sharp in his decision making.
3rd and 4 now. Kaipo on the pitch, Shun White, first down. For that late decision, you know, Katani gets hit right away. Kaipo takes it, you go after him because you have to at some point, and that ball goes out late.
Well, this defense for Wake Forest is taking Katani. They are getting a dive man, a dive defender on the fullback on every play, and that's allowing Kaipo to get outside and then put the bind on that defender that's playing in between Kaipo and the pitch man. You saw Kaipo kind of give a head fake like he was going to tuck it up inside and then dealt the ball outside at the last count.
That man right there has been in the face of Kaipo throughout the first half. Katani, the fullback, keeps it at the line of scrimmage. Run down, but that's why this is a tough quarterback for Navy, because you know with this offense he's going to get hit often, and today he's going to get hit often by Curry.
Yeah, Kaipo's going to get hit every play if the defense is doing their deal correctly, and then of course the fullback Katani's going to get hit. You want to tackle Katani on every play regardless of whether he has the football. At fullback, you don't want him to continue on as a blocker and get up to that second level with the linebackers.
Quick pitch. Shanego, Aaron Curry showing his speed to the outside. He can hit you and he can run down about any ball carrier.
This is a top 20 defense, and the team speed is very evident. Just a pitch, a sweep play outside to Doyle. And look at Curry. We got some NFL scouts that are just salivating looking at his name on the big board. He looks like he's having a lot of fun too, Terry, doesn't he?
Always does. We had a chance a couple of times this year to spend some time with him and on campus in Winston-Salem, and the man's got a smile on his face 90% of the time.
Great kid.
Kaipo's going to throw under pressure. Caught inside the 30 by Barnes. One-on-one with Kevin Patterson. Tyree comes down with it. Big target at 6'2", 197 pounds.
Kaipo was not a very good passer when he showed up on campus at the Naval Academy, but he has improved, and this was ball placement. He knows Barnes is capable of going up with his size, exceptional hands, and he placed that ball high and to the outside, gave number 89 a nice chance to outplay G.
Gain of 26, so it's 1st and 10 at the 29.
The previous play is under review.
So they'll take a look at what was, from our viewpoint, a good play and a good catch by Barnes. Tim Grobe looking up at the replay and a bit disappointed.
Yeah, I'd say more than a bit disappointed. And that's Patterson trying to get the arm over.
Yeah, he had the ball.
That was just a special play by Tyree Barnes. It's really interesting, Terry, on this offense. You usually like to have balance. You like to have two slot backs that you can use on the pitch, but they've really They've just leaned so heavily on Shun White at the pitch back position, and then when they throw the ball, they almost go exclusively to Barnes, and you can see why on that play.
You know, it just brings to mind Tyree Barnes, a senior from Hampton, Virginia. When we talk about Aaron Curry, and next year he'll be through the tough battles of the NFL, Tyree Barnes going into surface warfare. It's just a reminder of these seniors and all of these midshipmen, what they're going on to do, the sacrifices they're about to make. And why today, as Quint said early on, it's a very emotional day for those who are playing their last football game.
It reminds you just how lucky we all are to have these young men in all the service academies across the country fighting for our cause.
And some of those whose service assignment they've already received. Garrett Bryant going into the Marine Corps. Sean King also.
It takes a special kind of student athlete to take on those kinds of responsibilities.
They upheld the ruling on the field. So it is 1st and 10. Katani, the carry, runs into that tough defensive line. Aaron Curry joined them. But you know, you got Boo Robinson up there, who was honorable mention all ACC, and maybe a bit of a surprise as he lost 20 pounds in the offseason. Matt Robinson, who is a veteran in his 6th year. John Russell, Kyle Wilbur, who played better and better as the year went on. It was a defense which everybody expected a lot from this defense. They had 9 starters back, and they make you turn the ball over.
Yeah, and they've done a nice job, especially with all the pressure that their offense has put on them throughout the season.
Kaipo wants to throw again. Slings it. Intercepted. Inside the 2-yard line, Alphonso Smith. That's his 21st career interception. That's more than anyone else in the history of the ACC. He was tied with Dre Bly, and now he's got 21.
That is just a great story. Alphonso Smith. You didn't figure that he'd get that interception in this game. And Navy throwing the ball a lot more here in the first half than we normally see. And Wake Forest again getting pressure. And how about Alphonso Smith staying at home, not biting on the option action?
Hey, of the 21, that might be his easiest.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, it was not as easiest from a mental standpoint, showing a lot of discipline and great footwork along the sideline.
Going to keep it on the ground with the fullback. Myron Frett gets his first carry of the game, gives him a little bit of breathing room now for Riley Skinner and the offense. But that man right there coming into the game, you had to know mentally he might take a few chances to try to get number 21 and put himself ahead of Dre Bly. Didn't have to take any chances there.
He made his defensive coordinator Brad Lambert proud. Brad Lambert said there might be only 6 or 7 opportunities where we have to play the pass, but we've got to be ready on every down. And Smith, so disciplined, playing with great depth.
2nd and 6 from the 6. They're going to keep it on the ground again. Harris breaking through. Got a first down. The ball comes out late. Navy has it. Coming back to the end zone. Guess who? Rashawn King, who brought one back 50 yards early in the game. And Navy out there quickly to try to get this snap off so they can't take another look at it.
It appeared that fumble came late. Now maybe the ball was coming loose before he hit the ground, but the ball came out, it appeared, after he hit the ground. I'm just not sure whether the ball was secured tucked tightly to the body as he hit the turf. I think that's what they're going to try to sort out upstairs.
How's this for a first half for that man right there?
Jim Grove, very cool, usually very composed, but you can tell by the look on his face that he is losing his patience in a hurry.
You hear the announcement. It's just a general announcement for halftime for the fans, not from the referee. Well, can't really see it from there.
Yeah, I think you could see the football there. I think that ball came out late.
Here's a look.
Keep an eye on the left arm.
Oh, he's down.
Yeah, that's going to be reversed, I think.
Yeah, so Navy tried to scramble out as quickly as they could to get this snap and get the extra point. Well, look at that.
That's the same thing we saw on the Rashawn King return on the first touchdown, and the elbow of Kevin Harris, that left elbow carrying the football clearly. The point of the elbow touched the turf before the football came out. And this is going to be Wake Forest ball.
It was that same combination defensively, though, in that secondary. Wyatt Middleton, who forced the fumble early in the game on Alfonso Smith. He was the guy making the tackle and forcing this one. See if it stands. But Rashawn King again bringing it back.
It looked like Keetrick Buffin, the left cornerback, also was in on the tackle. 19-0. And
the Wake defense saying, let's switch places here. Coming back off the field, so obviously this one going to be overturned.
Terry, this is surprising to me. Even though Navy won that first game at Wake Forest, I thought Wake Forest really, throughout the course of that game.
After further review, the ruling is the runner was down. First down, Wake Forest at the 16-yard line.
I thought it was really evident at times that Wake Forest was the better football team. They turned the ball over 6 times. This is a bit of a shock to see the Wake Forest Demon Deacons trailing by 19. You get a look there again. Harris's elbow clearly down before the football comes out.
So they reverse the ruling on the field, take the points off the board. It's 13-0 Navy with 3:42 left in the first half. And it's 1st and 10, Demon Deacons. Harris has got the bulk of the work on the ground, across the 20 out to the 22. A reminder, Capital One Bowl Week rolls on Tuesday night. One of the better bowl games out there on ESPN. Boise State taking on TCU, the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. Broncos trying to complete their 2nd undefeated season in 3 years, David Norrie.
On paper, I think that's one of the top 5 bowl games, period. And that's including all the BCS games, the Rose Bowl, the whole enchilada. Boise State undefeated. TCU led at Utah for 57 minutes. Lost that game 13-10.
Here's Harris again around the right side, across the 30, carrying people again, all the way out close to the 45. 6'1", 225 pounds.
Well, this is what has been lacking for the Wake Forest offense in the 2008 season. They have struggled so mightily to run the football. The offensive line finally starting to find some rhythm late in the season.
How about this for a stat for you with 2:38 and counting in the first? Wake Forest only has 7 passing yards. Navy has 32. Devin Harris across midfield, hit hard there. Along the Navy sideline, Tony Haberer on the stop. Hard to hurt this guy, though, as Adams comes on for him. Now, you got to give him credit for just hanging in there with Jim Grobe throughout the year. 3rd-string fullback at one point.
Yeah, and he has a bit of fullback to him, but nifty enough between the tackles, quick enough, has ability to slip you a bit, but he's going to run through tackles.
There are those numbers which have been surprising. And the fact that Wake has 124 yards on the ground and has more than Navy, even though it's 13-0. Out of the eye. They whistle it dead as Josh Adams gets the football.
Right of the snap. False start. Offense number 62. 5 yards penalty remaining 2nd down.
All right, Doug Weaver, redshirt freshman from Roxborough, North Carolina. One of those 2 redshirt freshmen, he and Michael Hogue, who are balancing time today.
Yeah, Joe Birdsong, really the only experienced tackle, started at left tackle. Jeff Griffin moved inside to right guard, and Doug Weaver up to the right tackle position, and then Birdsong's going to switch from tackle to tackle every possession.
Adams, nowhere to run. And run out at the 40 by Corey Johnson. A big loss as we send it back to the studio. Get an update from Wendy Nix.
Terry, thank you. Coming up at the half, I'll be joined by Desmond Howard and Trevor Maddich. We'll check in on the Division III National Championship game and look ahead to the Pioneer Las Vegas Bowl. It's BYU, Arizona, as we get you set to go bowling. Terry?
Wendy, thank you very much. Just a minute 49 until halftime between Wake and Navy. And the midshipmen up 13-0. After the loss of 5, it's 3rd and 15. Skinner to throw. Not much success today doing that. Tough to find someone open, but he finally does. Complete down at the 32 to Bolden. Big gain in the first real positive passing play today for Wake Forest.
Yeah, this was a big situation for Wake Forest, facing a 3rd and long, and Riley Skinner, one of the best quarterbacks in the country with his feet. Watch him work the pocket. Working laterally, stepping up. And DJ Bolden as a wide receiver, you always want to be working down the field, trying to create separation, save your quarterback. It was a great play between quarterback and wide receiver.
Gain of 30 down to the 29. Quick out, Marshall Williams on the catch. You know, Skinner's had some time, but he hasn't been able to find anyone open downfield. He has on the last couple.
And when the pocket breaks down, he creates time. I think Riley Skinner is one of the rare quarterbacks in the country that is even more accurate when he's not throwing in rhythm from the pocket, but when he's on the move.
2nd and 3 out of the shotgun now again, on the move again. Skinner, the slide, and then hit at the 16.
Now, those hits by both defenders there came a bit late.
They'll move the chains, though. A gain of 6 on the play.
Terry, we talked about sitting down with Alfonso Smith and Aaron Curry, and how great young kids they are, but Riley Skinner is one of the class athletes in the country and continuing to show his toughness.
Bolden open. There's a flag on the play to the end zone. No signal quite yet as they talk it over and call it a touchdown for Wake Forest. But there is a flag back at the 22.
Yeah, I think this is coming back. This is going to be against Wake Forest.
Holding. Offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
Joe Birdsong doesn't want to play Navy anytime soon. Got tossed from the first matchup. Now a big penalty.
Yeah, Joe Birdsong right here is going to get called for the hold. He got tossed in the first game against Navy earlier this year. Wow, that is, I'll tell you what, that was not a violent hold. I mean, he had a hold of the jersey inside, but I didn't see much of a hold on that play.
Timeout. Navy, their second of the half.
So Navy takes the timeout, and they're down to 1 with 1:12 left. Fine line with Birdsong. He did have a hold of the jersey, though.
ESPN College Football, the EagleBankBowl, is brought to you by Eagle Bank. We're listening and we're doing. For more information, please visit us at www.eaglebankcorp.com. And Navy Mutual Aid, life insurance and annuities, covering sailors and Marines for 130 years.
Back in the seat of power in the United States, Washington, D.C. 13-0 Navy. Skinner looking to throw. Near sideline, got Bolden wide open. He's got another catch. DJ, who just had a touchdown, brought back because of the penalty. His 3rd reception of the afternoon.
And just when you thought Wake Forest didn't have the firepower, through the majority of this first half, it didn't look like Wake Forest had any vertical threat in the pass game, but Riley Skinner's done a nice job finding Bolton twice on this drive, both on corner routes. And on that night and on that last throw, a great job of dropping the ball in over the linebacker level.
Clock management now. You got 2 timeouts, got 1:05. You got 1st and goal, and now it's 2nd and goal from about the 4 as Adams gets tackled there.
This has been a real problem area for Jim Grobe and this offense. They have not been able to get it done in short yardage situations, goal line situations. It has hampered this team throughout the year.
Bolden and Williams to the far side. The quick pitch to Adams. Looking to get there, struggling to get there. Touchdown, Wake Forest. On the 12th play of the drive.
Nice blocks by Rinfret, the fullback, Joe Birdsong. And how about Josh Adams finishing off that run? Watch him lower the helmet.
He's been watching Kevin Harris.
He figured, hey, if I don't start running with that kind of physical resolve, I'm not going to get many carries.
Remember, initially, it started on the 2-yard line, that drive. Swank on for the extra point. Sam splits the uprights up and good, so it's 13-7. The interception by Alphonso Smith, the fumble that wasn't, they brought that back, and they go 98 yards, and Wake gets on the board late here in the first half. No, the Navy defense has been terrific, especially late in the season, but they just gave up a touchdown to Wake Forest. So it is 13-7. They're not used to giving up points.
It looked like Riley found his passing game on that drive.
First points allowed, some 10 quarters in the 160 minutes. But a great run. Riley Skinner taking Wake Forest down the field. This one brought out to the 23 with 30 seconds left in the first half. A reminder, Monday night, one of the traditional matchups in the NFC North. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers along the lakefront to take on Devin Hester and the Bears. Monday Night Football on ESPN, 8:30 Eastern time, beginning at 7 Eastern. With Monday Night Countdown delivered by UPS. I will be in Chicago. Check that one out.
You know, Navy won the national title back in 1926. Great game, a 21-21 tie against Army that year at Soldier Field.
Remember it well, huh?
Way back in 1926. Yeah, I was just a youngster.
That's when they were packing about 110, 115,000 into Soldier Field regularly.
That would have been a sight.
Ken Niumatalolo, a terrific first season running the show. He gives a lot of the credit to Paul Johnson, who's now at Georgia Tech, and this offense and what he's learned from them. Jim Grove happy with the late scores. We send it down to Quinn.
With Coach Niumatalolo. Coach, I want to go back to the first quarter when Rashawn King scored that touchdown off the fumble. What were the emotions going on in your head to watch Rashawn make a play like that weeks after losing his dad?
Couldn't happen to a better kid. He's been through a lot, and it's kind of ironic that it happened to him because he's a great young man, comes from a great family.
Your seniors have 30 minutes of football. What would the message to them be at halftime?
We got to finish. We didn't finish last year. We got to finish this year.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Yeah, Ken said the hardest thing he had to do was to tell both Rashawn and Andre Bird that their fathers had passed away earlier in the season. Great first half for King. 13-7, Navy with the lead over Wake Forest. Now to Wendy Nix for the Flomax halftime report.
This is ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Want to sit down? Navy rocking early in that first half. Wake Forest late, putting 7 on the board. Back at the inaugural EagleBankBowl here in Washington, D.C. RFK Stadium on a crisp, cold afternoon. It's gray as well. And Navy with the early points. We're out to a 13-0 lead, but Wake came storming back. Glad to have you with us once again. Terry Gannon along with David Norrie. Quinn Kesnick down on the field. That offense for Wake Forest struggling against the Navy defense. They had 7 passing yards until the last drive.
I think they kind of found their passing game, especially Riley Skinner. And in the second half, I think they're going to have to trust their passing game. They're going to have to trust the pass protection and Riley Skinner being able to move and help out that offensive line. And if Wake Forest wins this game, I think it's going to be with the plays in the passing game from Riley Skinner down the field to DJ Bolden.
That defense for Navy, though, playing great through most of the first half, so we'll see. Remember, Skinner threw 4 picks in the first matchup this year, also fumbled, and Wake had 6 turnovers. Sam Swank handling the kicking duties, and back deep. Navy coming back from its own 6-yard line out to the 28. Pretty good return, and look ahead as to what Wake Forest is going to do in the second half. We toss it down to Quint Kesnick.
Yes, thank Terry. Spoke to Coach Grobe about the sluggish start to this game. He didn't exactly pin it on the 11 a.m. kickoff, but he said it took his guys about a quarter to wake up. Now, what was most impressive to him on that last drive, Riley Skinner's ability to buy more time in the pocket. Defensively against the option, the big key says, you know, Navy is Navy. They're going to have success. But when we get them in a 3rd and 6 or longer, we have got to get off the field. We've got to make plays in 3rd and long.
And now Navy starting 1st and 10 from its own 29-yard line. Kaipo Noah changing the play, it looks like. They don't have many plays. They just run them well. The quick pitch. Greg Sheneko brought down just outside the 30 at the 31 by Alfonso Smith, who had his 21st career interception, breaking the ACC record in the first half. And David, the numbers.
Hey, look at the passing numbers. Very paltry numbers for Wake Forest, only 65 yards through the air. As you mentioned, Terry, they picked up the majority of those yards on that last drive, and I think they're going to have to pick it up in terms of attempts and just giving Riley Skinner more opportunities to threaten the ball down the field.
Kaipo Noah, Kahaiku, and Hara running the show for the midshipmen. Going to keep it, almost chased down from behind, ahead for a gain of a couple. And it just got out of the grasp of Matt Robinson early on, who was a bit banged up on the play. And here comes Robinson, the 6th-year man. They call him Grandpa on this defense for Wake Forest. Broke his kneecap and was out for some time and decided to come back and give it a go.
Yeah, it's such a great sophomore year. He's been a real nice story for Wake Forest. It looked like he's favoring that wrist or that left arm, but the way he has come back, he was a definite force on the defense this year for Wake Forest.
3rd and 1. Katani, the fullback, easily gets the first down. So they'll move the chains. Again, Navy playing in its 6th straight bowl game. Pretty good accomplishment for the midshipmen. And Wake Forest, for the first time ever, going to 3 straight bowl games. For Jim Grove, they're 5-3 all time.
Navy losing their last 2 by a total of 3 points. Ken Niumatalolo said that they were in good position in both of those bowl games. They just weren't able to finish.
The pitch, Sean White, who's been over 1,000 yards this year, over 2,000 for his career. A gain of maybe 1. Good pursuit by that defense. Chip Vaughn in on the tackle.
Yeah, Chip Vaughn is a safety who is a great tackler. He's capable of coming up and delivering the big hit. Been playing alongside Patterson, like Aaron Curry helping on the tackle there, but a couple safeties for Wake Forest that have been very good last line of defense type defenders.
Plus 16 in terms of turnover margin too this year. One of the better teams in college football, and down goes Kaipo. Chance McClintock, the weak side linebacker and a senior from Rome, Georgia. He started out as a defensive back in his career because of this speed.
Yeah, and McClintock had to do a lot of work to gain the weight. And he's playing in the secondary, gained some weight, plays the outside linebacker position. He's really the unheralded member of that linebacker core. A very solid group of linebackers are new in the middle, and of course Aaron Curry gets all the credit on the other outside.
Loss of almost 8. It's 3rd and 17. Will Kaipo go back to throw here? Threw often in the first half for him and for this Navy offense, but they keep it on the ground with Katani and don't even get back to the original line of scrimmage. So on comes the punt team.
That's a good statement by Wake Forest on the opening possession of the second half to get this offense off the field. And Jim Grove looking a bit more confident than he did midway through the second quarter.
You look at what that defense has done against the nation's #1 rushing offense. They gave up 292 yards on the ground the first matchup. Today only 120. DJ Bolden backpedals to the 18. Up to the 27-yard line, and Riley Skinner in the Wake Forest offense going back to work. Think about what happened early on for the Demon Deacons, and they were ranked. They won 4 of their first 5 games. They were number 15 in the nation, and then a slide.
Well, it really all started with the loss to Navy. They were 3-0. They were ranked 16th in the country. We talked about the running game, the offensive problems. The win against Vanderbilt put them in nice position to get into this bowl game, but it has been an up and down year for Jim Grobe.
Quick toss. Kevin Harris had a big first half. The junior from Sanford, Florida, who played in that last game of the year, as we said, against Vanderbilt, and now gets the start here in the bowl game. But it was all Pendergrass and Josh Adams through the year, but they've been banged up. And so you get the toughness and the size of Kevin Harris in this game. He's got 100 yards on 14 carries. Skinner changes the play, having trouble though communicating. Now they got it. Harris breaks through initially out to about the 33, maybe the 34-yard line. Wyatt Middleton along with Corey Johnson on the stop.
Wake Forest is testing that left side. Joe Birdsong, the big offensive tackle, left tackle, and Joe Looney, a true freshman playing at the left guard position. Not many true freshmen have played for Jim Grobe over the years under his tenure. Very few.
Doesn't like to do it. He says at the very least you got to be on the field for 20 or 30 plays or I'm not going to play you as a true freshman per game. Skinner, design run, has a big hole, has a first down as he slides out at the 42.
This looked like it was a design play, and I really love watching Riley Skinner play football. He may not be a guy that's going to play at the next level, but he is really a special athlete to watch playing college football at quarterback. Look at his feet, great vision, toughness, and smart enough, Terry, to get down when the big guys are closing in.
Business major wants to go into real estate, family business. Look at that. Same amount for both teams. Harris, number 47, Matt Nishak, the junior from Canoga Park, California, on the stop.
He sat down with Steve Labotsky, and he said that he wanted to give Navy a dose of their own medicine in this game, and I think to some degree he's been successful. Harris already over 100 yards. They've been able to control the clock, and with the exception of that turnover by Alfonso Smith, done a nice job of controlling the football and the clock.
Steve Labotsky, who played at Air Force. Yeah, again, tough running and close to a first down for Mike Winfred. The fullback, he may have it. For more on Riley Skinner, what do you have, Quint?
Terry, talking to Riley Skinner before the game, he mentioned having to watch the Navy game so many times this week in preparation. Those 4 turnovers, those 4 interceptions he had, he said they felt like hundreds. Today for him was a chance at redemption. He couldn't have been happier to playing Navy, a team he called it his most disastrous effort of his college career.
Yeah, and look at that record, 18-3 when he does not throw an interception, under 500 when he does. Harris tiptoes outside, still up. Going to make some people pay if he's going to be brought down. Wyatt Middleton made the initial hit. 24-17 the final in that game at Winston-Salem.
Yeah, and one of these interceptions was on anybody else but Riley Skinner. Some poor throws, not reading things correctly. Granted, there was some pressure in the pocket at times, but I thought all 4 picks were either bad decisions or misfires by Riley Skinner, and very frankly, Terry, he could have had 6 in that game. A couple drops by Navy defenders.
Well, he's only thrown 7 all year long, and a guy who's gone over 6,400 yards for his career, over 2,000 yards each year. Harris out of the backfield, inside the 15. Kevin Harris has been the man so far for Wake Forest. Gain of 32, David.
Well, they're going to just slip Kevin Harris out of the backfield and watch Riley Skinner work the pocket again, keeping that right foot loaded. And he has a nice touch with his right arm, the ability to drop the ball into holes down the field over the linebacker level. Nice throw.
They're at the 12, 1st and 10 out of the eye. Left side ahead for a couple. Winfred leading the way at that fullback spot. Josh Adams on the carry. He had a terrific year last year and is the second leading rusher. Came in with just under 390 yards on the year, but he had meniscus surgery in June. Slowed coming back from that. Slowed him early in the year. Then he had an ankle injury too.
Yeah, he is a good all-around back. We've seen him a couple times on blitz pickup against blitzing linebackers, and also pretty good catching the football out of the backfield.
Gets the pitch, cut back, battles his way down to the 5. Middleton on the stop.
You know, Terry, you made a great observation with Josh Adams coming in the game. You know, as a back, and you're not getting carries, and you watch Kevin Harris and the way that he's popping the football up inside and running with a lot of resolve and the physical style of running that Kevin Harris has unveiled this afternoon. Adams gets in the football game, and he's running with a lot of stubbornness, lowering the helmet, taking on defenders.
It's a big play right here. 3rd and 3 on the 10th play of the drive. Adams again, fighting his way down into the end zone. Touchdown. And his offense has come alive. The Wake fans here throwing some confetti at RFK. Skinner, Adams, Harris, the big 3 on that drive. Sam Swank on for the extra point. Line drives it up and good. And for the first time all day, Wake Forest has the lead over Navy with 5:50 left in the 3rd here in the nation's capital. The White House all spruced up for Christmas, for the holidays. Just down the street from where we are here at RFK Stadium. New occupant going in January 20th. And I think the folks are a little excited here in Washington, D.C. about the inauguration.
Oh, they are anticipating with great excitement.
Maybe
There's
a couple
buzz in the air.
A couple million people here in D.C. Alex Teach bringing it back up fullback, upended out at the 29. They scramble for the football late, but he was already down. The whistle came in. We've seen a number of those plays already here in the first half. And a crucial one, you remember, that was brought back for a touchdown. Wake got another try and took it down the field. Typo set to go back to work, trailing by 1 now. So the White House a moment ago, part of the checks and balances. The Capitol here in D.C., the inaugural EagleBankBowl. Are you a legislative, executive, or judicial kind of guy?
I'm a big executive branch guy.
See, he was judicial, kind of looking over people's shoulders to make sure they do the right thing.
The executive branch is the president and his delegates. 4 million.
I'm an action guy. I'm legislative. Quick pitch out to Sean White. Out to the 35, stayed in bounds as he gets hauled down. The senior from Memphis, Tennessee. He hadn't been able to have a big play except for that opening run, the 39-yard run. Remember that?
That's right. That's right. They've done a nice job of closing Sean White down on the outside. They were not solving the pitch. Wake Forest defense was not early in the game, but they have rallied outside. And Terry, one last thought on the executive branch. All the armed forces underneath the president fall in that executive branch. So another reason why they're my favorite.
I got you. Katani straight ahead as they run behind that line, which looks very different to a defensive tackle as you're lining up against it.
Yeah, it really does. You know, the line splits, meaning the area between each offensive lineman is very wide for Navy. And we'll take a couple looks here in the next play or two to create some angles and also create some running room for Katani as he searches for creases up front against Wake Forest. And take a look at the splits here in between the offensive linemen. They're unusually wide. Katani testing inside.
Kaipo knifes through up ahead to the 43. Good run and a first down for the midshipman.
Terry, the reason why they do that, it creates some angles. It creates some blocking angles, but it's almost like a microcosm. Go ahead and roll it, guys, but it's almost like a microcosm of the spread offenses. You want to spread that front 7 and sometimes front 8 for Wake Forest out and create natural creases in the defense. Obviously, the danger is you give up penetration, but Navy's so quick off the ball up front.
Yeah, for a quick defensive tackle, though, I mean, you can slice through and get to the backfield. Gonna hand it off to the fullback again. Across the 45 to the 47 goes Eric Catani, who came in needing 68 yards to reach 1,000 yards for the season.
And Stanley Arnu, middle linebacker. We've talked a lot about Aaron Curry, but I think Arnu has a future playing in the NFL. And he has been just a steadfast player against the run throughout the season for Wake Forest. It looked like Catani had some room on that last running play. Arnu shut it down.
Catani just about halfway to that 68 yards to get to 1,000. He's got 32 actually. Again, short gain against a defense that's also seemed to pick up some energy here. You know, that long drive by the offense late in the first half gave Wake some life, and Ken Niumatalolo seeing his offense keep it on the ground now with a 3rd and 4 coming up, but trailing for the first time in the game.
Man, it looked for a while in the first half like Navy might run away and hide in this game.
Big 3rd down play coming up. The pitch coming this way as they run the counter. Nope. Shun White stopped right at midfield. Chip Vaughn wasn't letting him get anywhere near the first down marker.
Now, Wake Forest was very quick to diagnose this play. Watch the penetration immediately. Aaron Curry taking the quarterback. A safety getting upfield on the pitch man. And then Chip Vaughn. Boy, he is fun to watch play football. He's had an excellent year at the safety position for Wake Forest.
Pretty good discipline for that defense, too. They start that movement the other way, and you got to hold your ground. High snap. Nice job. Kyle Delahook sending it back inside the 10 down near the 5-yard line. So Wake will have to drive much of the field to score when we come back.
ESPN College Football, the EagleBankBowl, is brought to you by Eagle Bank. We're listening and we're doing. For more information, please visit us at www.eaglebankcorp.com. And the U.S. Navy.
Another good look at the Capital here. Capital One Bowl Week. Yes, we kick off the bowl season on ESPN. Wake Forest with the 1-point lead, 14-13 over Navy, and taking over with 1:41 left here in the 3rd. They'll run it straight into the line and maybe ahead for a yard or so. How about the competitive nature of the ACC this year? You had so many teams with a chance to actually go to the championship game, really, in the last week of the season, and now 10 teams going to bowl games.
We talked to coaches throughout the season, and they, up and down the ACC, they said they had never seen anything like it. I think it was a season of parity. A lot of people thought maybe it was a mediocre year in the ACC. I just thought it was a number of teams that on any given Saturday could play good football.
Yeah, 9 teams with winning records. Up to the 15 they go, and about a yard shy of a first down. Kevin Harris on the carry.
I mean, granted, it's not an SEC or a Big 12 by any means, not this season, but as you mentioned, Terry, 10 teams getting into bowl games.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you listen to the experts, they don't give them a great chance to have a lot of success in the bowl games.
Well, that remains.
Not sure that the experts know everything, but that's the consensus.
There's one thing we know from bowl history: a lot of upsets and a lot of surprises.
Harris looking for room to get to that first down mark. A stingy defense by Navy.
Didn't get it.
Matt Neshek, the first man to hit Harris. Had some help. Middleton in on it as well.
Jim Grove, this has been a short yardage situation for his offense this year, has been a real problem.
Yeah, that's the look right there.
Yeah,
as we end the third quarter, we head to the fourth here, the Eagle Bank Bowl at RFK, and Wake up by 1. That's what it looked like and sounded like prior to kickoff today at RFK Stadium here in Washington, D.C. Pilots now safely down on the ground. We head to the fourth. Terry Gannon, David Norrie, Quint Kesnick with you. 14-13. Wake Forest, 4th and 1. They'll punt it away deep in their own territory. Mario Washington, dangerous near midfield. Able to hang on, though. Brandon G was there to meet him right away. So, David, you look ahead to this fourth, and Navy set to go back to work. Good field position right now. It's been a stingy defense for Wake Forest as of late.
This offense is tough to handle on the first few possessions, but like the first game between these two teams, the Wake Forest defense, as the game has gone on, has gotten better. Taking a look at Aaron Curry, Boo Robinson, they're number 96. They're all seeing this offense play by play, and I think they're starting to react. They're starting to rally to the outside, and they're playing sound responsibility defense.
1st and 10. Kaipo got to keep it. Lot of room. Finally run out of bounds. Big time run by the quarterback of Navy, 35 yards.
We talked about responsibility football, and that's how you have to play it on defense. You let up on one play, and Kaipo Noah will make you pay for it. The defense just forgot about the quarterback on that play.
Kaipo Noah, Kahayaku, and Hata from Hawaii.
Nice work with the football. You saw the fake with the left hand. He set the defense up with a little hand fake like he was going to pitch the ball outside, and he is so quick turning the ball up. Not really a home run threat with his speed, but more than capable to make the big play.
Coaching ahead, a guy running the show at quarterback, both from Hawaii, surveying the landscape right now on 1st and 10 from the 15. Wake Forest sideline trying to change their defense positioning right now. Katani, the fullback, ahead for a couple. And 14-26 and counting here. Reminder, Capital One Bowl week rolling on. The Pioneer Las Vegas Bowl. BYU taking on Arizona. BYU, the number 16 team in the nation. That's at 8 o'clock Eastern tonight on ESPN. And a pretty darn good matchup here on day one.
Those are two of the better offenses we've seen across the country. Arizona created a lot of problems for Pac-10 teams. Talking about creating problems for Pac-10 teams. BYU took down UCLA 59-zip.
Tough running. 1st and goal inside the 5. Katani's pumped up. A gain of 9.
Well, that's what a couple successful runs outside with your quarterback and your pitch man can do. It softens the defense between the tackles. Katani got off to a slow start this year for Navy. And the coaching staff challenged him going into the Rutgers game to hit it harder, to play more physically with the football, and he's responded. Big year for Eric Katani.
22 yards away from 1,000 for the season. Kaipo wants to throw it. Going to throw this one away. Curtis Sharp, he was looking to him in the corner of the end zone, but it was well defended.
Sharp was covered in the back corner of the end zone, and they don't go to Sharp very often.
They don't go to the air very often, especially they get down inside the 5. So as I mentioned, 22 yards away from 1,000. Good average for both these backs. Very good in terms of yards per carry. Kaipo, to the 3. Little broken play, or you just keep it?
Well, they run that lead option sometimes where they'll take the fullback up into the hole. There's the fake, and then he'll follow the fullback up inside. And I also think that he read outside that Wake Forest reacted to the pitch man. They want to be very careful. The field goal gives you the lead.
3rd and goal as they come to the line of scrimmage. The Wake defense moving around. Kaipo fighting to try to get their touchdown. Niumatalolo signaling the 2 after the 6 on the board. Harmon's already out there. Yeah, they're going to come back in with the 2, and there's Kaipo. So they'll go for the 2 and make. Yeah, look how far he is out on the field to make sure that the offense knows what it's doing.
They love that lead option, that fake to the fullback. They get so much done inside the 5 short yardage situation when Kaipo follows the fullback up into the hole, breaks the goal line.
Midshipman going for 2. As they spread him out this time. Different formation than we've seen throughout the game. Straight drop to the end zone. Not even close. Nowhere to go. Shun White was the man he was looking for, but he was behind not 1 but 2 defenders for Wake. Kaipo gets 6 on the board though. And Navy leads here in the 4th. Smiles on the sideline for Navy right now. They have just taken the lead, 19-14 over Wake Forest here in the 4th quarter of the EagleBankBowl. And now the Wake offense a chance to go back to work. Riley Skinner as we take a look at our Assurant Health playbook.
Now, running backs are very important in pass protection. Take a look at Clint Sobey, the linebacker. He's going to come on a blitz. Josh Adams lined up next to Riley Skinner. Watch him get up into the legs of Sobey. A perfect blitz pickup by Josh Adams. And then Riley Skinner repositions in the pocket, throws a strike down inside the 5 to DJ Bolden. A first scoring drive for Wake Forest. And have to see some more of that from Wake Forest here in the 4th quarter if they expect to win this game.
John Teague sending it through the hands of C.J. Washington and out the back of the end zone, and we send it to Wendy next for another update.
Terry, just a reminder, over on ESPN2, while you hold down the fort on ESPN, it's the Division III National Championship. Mount Union on top, 24-13 over Wisconsin Whitewater. Right now on the Deuce.
All right, Wendy, thank you. Back here in Washington, D.C., 12:30 left in this one. Riley Skinner today. How about these numbers, David? 7 of 7 for 97 yards. And he's a guy who has led them on 5 fourth-quarter comebacks to win games in his career, 2 of those in 2008.
Can't get much better than hitting 100%.
Out of the shotgun. Quick throw. Far sideline. Complete to Chip Brinkman, the senior from Bel Air, Florida. His first catch of the afternoon, run out of bounds by Keetrick Buffett.
You know, when Wake Forest won the ACC championship, Terry, 2 years ago, Riley Skinner was throwing it about 15 times a game. Last year they go to the Meineke Car Care Bowl, about 20 attempts. Riley Skinner for Jim Grobe. This year they came out early in the year. They thought they could throw it 30, 35 times a game, and they realized very early on they weren't able to protect him. Riley didn't play well when he got a lot of attempts, and they have scaled back.
Here comes Harris to the 32. Last year, that Meineke Car Care Bowl, a win over UConn. You go back a couple of seasons ago, and they played in the FedEx Orange Bowl. And a loss to Louisville there.
That's right. And, you know, Louisville, clearly the more talented team going into that game. And Jim Grobe's team was not able to secure the football, turned the ball over quite a bit in the Orange Bowl. But like when you look back on that season, the 9-6 win against Georgia Tech, winning the ACC championship, what a job Jim Grobe has done.
First time since 1952 that they have put together 3 straight winning seasons. Bolden leaps over one across the 40 and close to a first down. His 4th catch of the afternoon. That was spectacular.
Well, and Wake Forest getting some things from their offense that they have not gotten in the regular season in 2008. Offensive line creating some run game today. Not many wide receivers with talent after the catch on this roster. But DJ Bolden, what a play. Going up in the air, hurdling the defender, moving the chains.
Got a good block from his tight end, Ben Wooster, too. 1st and 10. The clock continues to run under 11 minutes now. Harris has had a big afternoon. The starting tailback today to the 49. Good gain on first down.
We saw these two teams in the first game. It was Navy and their defense delivering the blows, coming up, making big hits. This afternoon, Kevin Harris has taken over that role. He is running with a nice pad level.
Flags, they whistle this one dead.
Dead ball. False start. Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty remains, second down.
Kevin Harris got to wish he was doing this earlier in the season, Quint.
Field level, Terry, one thing that stands out from field level is Harris and his size. He's 225. That is bigger than 8 of the defenders on the field right now for Navy. The only 3 Navy guys who are as big as Kevin Harris are their front 3. So when he breaks into that second level, he's starting to pack a punch.
Quinn, he's got 128 yards today. He came in with just 40 yards on the season and 1 touchdown. Skinner can run it. Not far, though. Just shy of the 45. Clint Sovey, the junior from Jacksonville. Guy's been a big part of that defense for Navy this year. A bit undersized, but he's got a lot of speed.
He was a hero against Temple. One of the biggest comebacks in Navy history, trailing 27-7.
That was an unbelievable
quarter. Game. Inside a minute to go, looked like Temple was going to salt the game away, and Sovey came up with the fumble recovery and the return for the touchdown. They won it in overtime.
3rd and 7. Can they get a stop here? Skinner with time. Can't give him that much time. He's got a man inside the 30. Complete. Brinkman fighting his way down to the 10. Lost the helmet, held on to the football. And a gain of 45 for the Demon Deacons.
I can't say enough about Riley Skinner and how he helps his offensive line with his feet. Brinkman got behind number 11. Keetrick Buffin. Buffin fell asleep and did not really think. I think in his mind, he didn't feel like Riley Skinner was capable of setting and delivering the ball that far downfield.
Ball set down just outside the 10, so it's 1st and 10. Harris, inside to the 9, maybe. Brings up 2nd.
Seems like every big play that Wake Forest has made, and there haven't been many, but the big plays they've made, Terry, in the passing game have been Riley Skinner moving, shifting in the pocket, and then finding receivers that have broken off the tops of their routes and created additional space down the field.
Makes it awfully difficult for that secondary. Harris to the 7. That's it. You got to stay with it and stay with it because he's going to buy time moving around in the pocket or out of it.
Yeah, you love it when you're a wide receiver and you have a guy like Riley Skinner because the longer time that you have to work down the field, the better ability to take advantage of secondary defenders. And big 3rd down coming up here.
Three receivers set. Harris back there with Skinner. Looking to the end zone. Back of the end zone. Touchdown. Ben Wooster, the tight end.
Riley Skinner had the worst game of his career in the first game of the season against Navy, but he has been brilliant throwing the football. How about that touch throw? Just dropping it in over the head of Middleton, the safety, to Wooster. One of the more talented tight ends in the ACC. Had a bit of a disappointing season, but I can't say enough about the way that Riley Skinner has thrown the ball.
1 point lead, so they go for 2 here. Skinner. Got it. Great throw again. Another good catch. Devon Brown. An offense that has been so sharp since that last drive of the first half. In Worcester, they expected big things from him, and mostly because of the injuries this year. He's fallen shy. Now back as a big part of the offense, a big part of this bowl game. And with 7:52 left, Wake is up by 3.
ESPN College Football, the EagleBankBowl, is brought to you by Eagle Bank. We're listening and we're doing. For more information, please visit us at www.eaglebankcorp.com. And Navy Mutual Aid, life insurance and annuities, covering sailors and Marines for 130 years.
Good look from in front of the White House here in Washington, D.C. The first ever EagleBankBowl, and Wake having just taken the lead. Then Worcester, the touchdown catch. They went for 2. They got it. 3-point lead. Shun White from his own 15. To the outside. Big time return. A flag is down back at the 40. White all the way down to the 12. But there is a penalty marker way back at the 37-yard line.
Holding. Return team. Number 58. 10-yard penalty in the spot of foul. First down.
That's what Ken thinks of that. They're bringing it back. So 7:42, and not the same field position that you expected after the return from Shun White.
Trey Grissom, number 58, gets hit for the hold. And Shun White gets us a look at just how explosive he can be. Average over 9 yards a carry at the slot back position over his career. Sub 4.4 speed. And there it is right there. Let's go ahead and freeze it. Right here is the hole.
Kaheaku and Hata back to work on the roll. Kaipo making a decision to keep it now. Good gain. Has a first down across the 40 to the 42. Gain of 15 on first down. And plenty of time in this one for a lot to still go on. Consoling him after that. Or telling him what he did wrong. I'm not quite sure. But it was
fixing the headgear.
Big break for Wake Forest. First and 10 at the 42 now. Straight ahead with the fullback. Up to the 46-yard line goes Katani. And Chance McClintock on the stop.
Well, it's really great that it comes down to this for some of these Navy seniors. Quint Kesnick, our man down on the field, talked about it at the top of the show, how this is the last game for all these seniors at Navy, and it comes down to a drive at the end of the football game.
Quick pitch, Shun White. Upended behind the line of scrimmage by Brandon G, who read that perfectly. You got to try to time that too. When Shun White goes in motion as a defender, you're reading a lot of different things.
And Shun White, we've seen how his speed can put pressure on a defense. The cornerbacks are so important against this spread option offense. And I think both G and Alfonso Smith have done a nice job of taking the pitch man out on the perimeter.
Defense for Wake a bit confused, looking over the sideline for some help. Now set. On third down, Kaipo to the ground. Kyle Wilbur, the redshirt freshman, with a big play.
Now Wilbur is the defensive end of the future. for Wake Forest. The coaches say he's got a great upside. Watch him from the backside. Comes all the way down the line, closes. You can't teach speed at the defensive end position.
Kyle Delahook on for the punt. DJ Bolden back at his own 17. Got a chance here to return this one. And out close to the 27-yard line. So Riley Skinner comes back on. And the Wake offense, he's been perfect on the day upon a 43-yard, 17-yard return for Skinner next. 5:12 left. In Chicago, while we were away, Ken Niumatalolo very upset about that last punt and something that was not called. Harris, the carry on first down again. Tough running up to the 31. Can you add to that, Quint?
Yeah, Terry, I think part of that was him trying to fire up his team, but the call on the punt, he really felt that one of his players covering that punt was pushed from behind, and especially coming off the holding violation against Navy on the Sean White big return, you can see the frustration creeping in on the Navy sideline.
And we're watching it right now, Quint. Maybe that block in the back that wasn't called. I'm not sure how much contact there was because we slowed it down, but that's maybe what he was referring to.
That was Brandon G., the cornerback for Wake Forest, and a lot of the frontline players for Wake Forest play on special teams for Jim Grove. It did look like it was a block in the back.
Navy with 29 forced turnovers this year. This would be an excellent time to come up with one. Rich Belton, the fullback, spins his way ahead for maybe 3.
You hear a lot of coaches at the NFL level talk about throwing the ball to get ahead and running the ball to win the game late. And that's what Wake Forest is going to have to do here.
Timeout, Navy. A big part of this game and a big difference between this game and that first matchup, the fact that back in Winston-Salem, Jim Grove's offense had 43 yards rushing total on 31 carries. They're over 200 yards on the ground today. And while we have this moment, take a look at today's storyline brought to you by Kay Jewelers.
Look at some of these matchups in Boise State. That's going to be a heck of a game against TCU. Notre Dame over in Hawaii trying to end an ugly streak of their own. Boston College looking for 9 straight bowl wins. That is amazing.
It is.
And how much fun has Pat White been to watch at the quarterback position for West Virginia? One of the most dynamic runners from behind center that we've ever seen in college football.
Settle in on that Notre Dame number, though. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's an eye-opener.
Ricky Dobbs getting ready. Backup quarterback, the sophomore from Douglasville, Georgia, who played in 7 games this year. So
he's the passer.
Yep.
And they may need to throw it if they do get it back.
Trying to get to the first down marker. Looked like he was just shy. Rich Belton.
I think it's interesting here that Navy's using their timeouts early, and a lot of it has to do with the 40-second clock, the new clock rules this season. Ken Niumatalolo using his timeouts early, and I think they've been well placed here. Especially with the defense coming up with that stop.
You think it would waste too much time right now that you need later on?
Well, the clock really moves a lot more quickly when it's 40-second chunks, and they're going to be short here. You know, I think Jim Grove is tempted to go. He's got an excellent defense, but inside his own 40-yard line, it's tough to do, but I think he's going to have to put this game in the hands of his defense.
Yeah, they do come on to punt. It was a good yard short. I mean, it wasn't a football length. It was a solid yard. So they come on to punt right now.
If this is a 4-point game, I think Jim Grove might go for it. But because it's a 3-point game, you don't make it. Navy pretty close to field goal position already if they take over.
Mario Washington back at his own 23-yard line. Shane Poppamon for the punt as the clock now starts to run. And Wake will stand there as long as they possibly can.
Yeah, the mids are on full alert here for a fake punt.
Johnson almost got there. Washington the fair catch, and they will start from their own 27. We'll see who comes out to run the show as the quarterback for Navy with 3:25 left. Navy seems to play tight games in the bowls the last couple of years. 2006 Meineke Car Care Bowl late against BC. And the winning field goal, they lose it 25-24 last year against Utah in the Poinsettia Bowl. Utah with the 35-32 win in this one. So they've had their heart broken the last couple of seasons. Great success getting to the bowls, but now trying to win one here. Perhaps this final drive, 3:25 left. Kahiaku and Hada is the man who comes out at quarterback. It's not Ricky Dobbs, so they don't make the switch. Keep it on the ground with their quarterback a short game. What do you think about this decision?
Well, I think they were warming Dobbs up on the sideline in case Wake Forest picked up a first down and Navy was able to get the ball back with less time on the clock. But with over 3 minutes to go, Ken Niumatalolo felt like he had enough time to stay with this conventional offense and go with his #1 quarterback.
Quick pitch to Shun White. Run out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. Great pursuit by Brandon G. And you see up the top of your screen, there are 2 timeouts left for Navy. It was an official's timeout, one of those 2 that were taken to measure. So they have 2 left.
G's had a super game, number 17. He's gotten great penetration. He's taken on blockers. That is a big play with the game on the line, and now Navy out of their comfort zone. They're going to be forced to throw the football here, and safe to say Wake Forest is going to be focusing on Barnes, the wide receiver.
Number 89, their leading receiver throughout the year. White in motion. Kaipo under pressure. Lost the football. Navy guy has it, but behind the line of scrimmage. It was Eric Katani who actually came up with it in midair, but now you're closing in on 2 minutes. And another timeout taken by the Naval Academy.
Yeah, Navy's going to have to go for it on 4th down. And once again, Wake Forest getting pressure. Aaron Curry on the blitz. And how about Big Boo Robinson, number 96? The most athletic of the defensive linemen for Wake Forest. And he got to Kaipo quickly. Caused the fumble. Maybe he was lucky that Katani picked that up, picked it out of the air.
Quick reminder, you got the Pioneer Las Vegas Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern time. BYU taking on Arizona. So meanwhile, 2 minutes 4 seconds left here at RFK, and it's 4th and 10 for Navy. Big difference for the midshipmen than the first time these 2 hooked up in Winston-Salem when they caused 6 turnovers, 4 of them on interceptions by Riley Skinner. He's been absolutely perfect today for Wake.
Well, you talked about the Wake Forest running game and getting yards on the ground, but Riley Skinner has been flawless. He's kept the ball away from the white jerseys. Accuracy and playmaking ability with his feet.
Time of possession, too. Just a minute between the 2 teams. Here comes Navy. 4th down. They need this. Kaipo scrambling, desperately looking to get there. Not going to. Ball is loose. Wake's going to come up with it. It's out of bounds. Still scrambling. Stayed inbounds. Either way, though, that was a last-ditch run by the Navy quarterback. Alfonso Smith walking with Kaipo to the sideline. 1:51 left. And Wake taking over with a 3-point lead.
Yeah, this was not the situation that Navy wanted to find itself in, having to pass to move the chains. That was McClintock that closed and created the fumble. But it was Aaron Curry who provided the pressure off the snap of the football. And a very fitting end of the season for number 59. Aaron Curry came clean on Kaipa.
So Wake takes over 1st and 10 at the 36, under 2 minutes to go. And Navy with just one timeout, which they will not burn.
And 4th and long for Navy. Game on the line. Look at 59. Aaron Curry just hounding Kayako and Hada. Not much of a chance to pick up the first down, and it looked like Aaron Curry was closing pretty quickly from behind at the end of that play.
Now you mentioned Aaron Curry, and different feeling on the other sideline for the Navy seniors, but as they say goodbye to their college careers, you know, they close the last 3 times in bowl games.
Well, both sets of seniors on both sides of the field, the most successful group of seniors in the history of Wake Forest football, and this has been one of the most successful group of seniors for Navy football in all the history of the Naval Academy. A lot to be proud of for both teams.
Wake Forest took that timeout. You look at what they've done. The ACC champs a couple of years ago, but by far it is the most successful class. Quint, what do you have?
Well, I think a theme of this whole week, guys, has been mutual respect for these two programs who are both strong in the intangible categories. The guys at Wake Forest, student athletes. Obviously, the work of the young men in the Navy continues to be talked about, but I think both programs have such a great mutual respect, and that's something that I think we walk away with.
Rich Belton on the ground, the fullback still up. He may get to the end zone. Yep, he does. Fitting the way this offense has clicked since that last drive of the first half, David.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a late flag on Belton leaving his feet at the goal line. The points will stand, and it has been fitting, Terry. And just the way that this offensive line, it's been a much maligned group for all of 2008, but they have found a way to work together, and they have overpowered this defensive front for Navy. Belton lowering the shoulder, getting the pad level low.
35 yards to the end zone for number 35. Senior from Chapel Hill.
Gets flagged for the celebration, but I don't think that's going to slow Wake Forest down here inside a minute to go. Pretty impressive comeback, trailing 13-zip.
And Navy just dominant through the first almost 2 quarters. And a defense that hadn't given up any points in the last 2 games and spent much of the first half without giving up any points. Sam Swank, who's been a terrific kicker for Wake throughout his career, on for the extra point. And good. So it's turned into a double-digit lead. The ground game with guys like Belton and Kevin Harris, huge today for Wake on offense, but then in the air, Riley Skinner more than made up for the interceptions in the poor game against Navy the first time around.
It was a classic afternoon for Riley Skinner, and he got things started on that last possession of the first half. 2 strikes to Bolden. We saw the route down the sidelines to Harris here in the second half. The play to Brinkman was huge. And how about the touch on the throw to the back of the end zone to Wooster? They followed it up with a 2-point conversion pass to Devon Brown that was also a ball that was delivered perfectly high in the back of the end zone. 11 for 11.
Yeah, exactly. That's, you look at his numbers back on September 27th, but 11 for 11 today. 166 yards, a touchdown. And Harris, 136 yards on the ground for Jim Grove.
And when you hit 11 for 11, I mean, it seemed like he had more attempts, but he was just completing every ball. And
the last time it happened, 2004 against Navy, but a little different, 5 for 5 for 35 yards.
And generally, Wake Forest, short passing game. They try to spread you across the field side to side, but So those 11 throws, the majority were high impact throws down the field, stretching the defense and picking up big chunks.
Ball falls off the tee. So Kaipo Noa Kahiaku and Hada, the quarterback, playing his final game for Navy. They're getting ready. All right, here you go. Jim Grobe's got to get ready for the bucket.
Yeah, the bath isn't a lot of fun when the temperature starts ticking down close to 30 degrees.
Nah, I bet it will be enjoyable. Nonetheless, kick taken at the 42 and across midfield. Still up all the way down to the 34-yard line. So good return. Kevin Campbell, the backup fullback. Yeah, the Gatorade turns to ice quickly, or at least water. I guess Gatorade wouldn't. The water would.
Especially when it's down your back.
And you look at those seniors and their service assignments. There are 32 that have received their service assignments. Here are some of those. And the names we've seen today: Sean White, Surface Warfare; Rashawn King, Marine Corps.
You look at all these seniors, and they've all played big roles on this team. I mean, all of them. Jared Bryan, of course, when he was a senior, and he had to start 6 games at quarterback this year. But Jared Bryan, senior, playing at Hoover High School in Alabama, was a Mr. Football as a senior.
Corey Johnson, who played 3 years of basketball at the Naval Academy, and this is his 2nd year of football. And the coaches have said, Buddy Green said, well, if he only had another year, what he could be.
And he was a big part of the defense this year. He gave the defense the ability to play the 3-man front, come up and line up as a stand-up defensive end, and then play in the outside linebacker position in the 4-3. Gave his defense a lot of flexibility and athleticism. He's had a nice year for Navy.
Think of what those seniors have done too on the field. 13 straight versus the service academies, and 7 straight versus Army. Ricky Dobbs coming on at quarterback now. And he throws it. He looks to throw it. Throws it awful when he comes in. Hit hard from behind. And this one playing to the very end. Antonio Wilson, a backup defensive end, getting his licks in late.
Yeah, quarterback position, not a lot of fun to play when you're trailing, and you have to be careful when you're buying time back towards the line of scrimmage, looking for receivers downfield, because sometimes the big boys are trailing you. Antonio lowering the headgear. Looks like they're going to line up for a field goal here. You know, this is a very heady decision by Ken Niumatalolo. He's going to kick a field goal, and if he makes it, they have time for an onside kick.
And Harmon on 2nd down is not going to make it, and there's a little bit of fighting going on at the line of scrimmage. A big pile at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that was a nice decision to kick the field goal there, because you want to make sure you leave enough time to win the football game, and the only way you can win the football game is get a field goal between the uprights, go for the onside kick, and take a couple shots into the end zone. It shows me the coach is on top of his game when it comes to clock management and managing the end of the game.
Well, they finally separate these two teams, and we've seen that in the 2 matchups fairly often. There's the Gatorade by the Butkus winner himself, Aaron Curry. He's got a lot more football left in his future. 33 seconds left. To one knee goes Skinner. Pretty impressive win with what Wake came back from this afternoon, David.
Yeah, the hypothermia risk goes up considerably when you get the...
It's only got 33 seconds to get to the locker room, and less than that now. So Jim Grove and the Demon Deacons win another bowl game, they win the inaugural EagleBankBowl here in Washington, D.C. And Navy losing another close one, although it is double digits, but much closer than that. Riley Skinner, what a career he is. And just a junior from Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, he comes back. And a lot to look forward with Skinner at the controls. A lot to look forward to for Wake Forest and Jim Grobe. And I think they're going to be able to build an offense around him next year.
Send it down to Quinn as the fireworks go off.
Coach Jim Grobe, congratulations. Down 13-0. What changed? What was the turning point?
Well, it didn't feel very good, to be honest with you. I thought our defense was playing pretty good. Took our offense a while to get going. Once we had the nice drive at the end of the first half, that's when we thought, hey, maybe we can get this thing going a little bit.
How do you best characterize what you watched from Riley Skinner, your quarterback?
Well, he played great today. You know, back earlier in the season, he didn't play very well. I think he kind of came in on a mission today. We couldn't ask him to play any better than he did today.
There's a lot of talk about the Navy seniors, but your seniors have done some great things themselves. What did you say to them before this game?
Well, they're the heart and soul of our football team. They've been that way for 3 years now. We're going to really miss these guys, and I challenged our young kids. I knew our old guys had played pretty good. We need our young guys to step up and give these guys a win, and they did.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations. Terry.
Quinn, thank you very much. So big win for Wake Forest here as we kick off the bowl season on ESPN. Fine fashion for the Demon Deacons.
It was a lot of fun, partner, and I'm looking forward to a lot more football here, not only today, but as we work towards the New Year's and great schedule. Get home and get on that couch.
You're right. 405 total yards for Wake today. 29-19, your final score. For more on our game, tune into ESPN News. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long, everybody, as we send you back to the studio and Wendy Nix.